What's going on, everyone? Nicholas Merton here from DataDash. I'm here today with David Siegel, the leader of the Pillar project. We're here currently at Pillar Unconference. I wanted to spend a little bit of time sitting down with David today to talk a little bit about the conference, hear a little bit of updates on Pillar, and also get a little bit of thoughts on where he sees the blockchain space going. David, thank you very much for spending the time just to sit down and have a conversation.
My pleasure, Nick. Yep. Just to let people know, we are in the middle of Lithuania, someplace in northeastern Europe.
Yeah. No, it's been an exciting conference. It wasn't the first location I thought of having a conference, but I will say that, yeah, no, exactly. And I was thinking, what I really love though is, so Pillar had contacted, obviously, out for me to come out to the event, and what I really liked about it was that you guys kept the doors open. It was a free conference where people can come and visit, and because of that, we've had a great community of people come out from a variety of different projects, different focus points in the blockchain space.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's all about community for us. Mm-hmm. You know, we're not trying to be in the conference business. We're not trying to market. In fact, people don't get this. Well, if it's a free conference, then you must be selling something. Well, really, we're selling education. Mm-hmm. We want people to come learn and share. And it's an unconference because whatever anybody wants to share, you put it on the board, and if you get enough dots voting for it, then you're going to give a talk.
Absolutely. The one issue that I find is that as the conference space has turned more into a business model, not only have I been kind of shied away from attending conferences, but along with that as well, what you end up doing is you start isolating it. So the only types that you get coming to these conferences are people who usually work for Fortune 500 companies, going out there and saying, how can I use the blockchain in some sense? It's very, very arbitrary. It's not the community.
And it's all the biz dev people, biz deving, and that's just not organic, and it's not, for us, it's all about learning.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess, let's start a little bit talking about the conference and everything, because this is definitely an untraditional model and everything.
Yeah.
How does it kind of generally work? I've seen it, it's very interesting, but how could we explain how it works?
It's organic, it's unorganized. We have a big board on the wall. You can tell we had it built and installed, our own board.
Yeah.
And it's got some tape lanes on it, and everybody can write down or pre-apply, and you just will print it out, and then you've got all these pieces of paper with talk proposals. They're all 25 minutes, and then we put them all up in the possible category, and then people vote with pens. It's just grab a pen and vote, and then the things that have the most dots move over to the most voted category, and then we take from there and we try to arrange the next day. So every day at 5 o'clock, we spend half an hour arranging the following day. So we try to get a good mix of things that are at the same time in different rooms, and make it reasonably possible to go from here to there and choose your tracks or your interests. And then we put it up on screens, and it's on Telegram. And then people can go through that day, and during the day they vote on the following day. So new interesting things can come up, and we'll say, oh my gosh, we need or somebody just came. Oh, we just had the the ex-Prime Minister of Estonia just showed up. So we just, said, okay, how can we get that in? So we didn't know when he was going to show up. So it's in a flexible format.
Yeah, I like that, because most conferences not only spend a lot of time just openly allowing ICOs to promote, which can get in the way sometimes, but along with that as well, it is good to, keep adaptable to what people might want in regards to seeing content.
We don't really have sponsors. We don't have anybody has a big agenda here. No one's trying to sell you anything. It's just all about learning.
Yeah. So going on here, I want to talk a little bit, I want to dive into Pillar a little bit later, because...
And golf. It's also about golf.
It's about golf as well, yes. I was going to say, I want to talk about Pillar a little bit later on in this, but I do want to spend some time with you, because I've kept up with the project for about a year now, and I'm really, really excited to see that you're one of the few projects in the space that's actually delivered something. It was actually one of the first projects that I covered on my channel, which is why I don't mind sitting down and interviewing with you.
We're so late, and yet so many other people are either more late or dead already.
No, I got to try the beta today, so I can speak.
Awesome.
Today and yesterday I got to try it out, so it's good to see a functioning wallet that's getting close to market-ready adoption. Maybe we might have...
If it weren't ready, we were going to show the Victoria's Secret app and just let people say, that's an amazing wallet.
That's an amazing app. I'll look
never saw. Yeah, that's just give great word of mouth.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to dive into Pillar and talk a little bit about my experience with it, and get a little bit of your views on it. But the thing I want to ask you as well, just to kind of generally tap into this topic of blockchain and cryptocurrencies, as someone myself, I've become a very big skeptic of this space as well. I've been very much trying to focus on the real substance of this space, trying to find projects that are building real applications.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise.
So I'd love to hear just kind of a little summary. Where do you see the space going over the next year?
Okay, so first of all, let's just build the world's best wallet because wallets are scary. I mean, you and I both use wallets, and you send something, and then on a separate channel by phone or did you get it? No. Okay, let's check the transaction hash over at the Etherscan. Oh, maybe it wasn't enough gas. I don't know. Try again. Okay, I'll lose more money again. I don't, sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. And there's no connection. So in our wallet, we would connect by name. You could find me under David Siegel on a list, just like on Skype. You'd send me a connection request. I'd accept. Now you're in my address book. I'm in your address book. Now you want to send me one Ether. You do it by sending by name. You never see my address. So there's the cutting and pasting is gone. And the second you send, our blockchain explorer is built in and can keep both parties up to date on what's going on and can even tell you why something didn't work. So you never go to a blockchain explorer. You only send by name. And as we add more and more features, like the exchange will be coming this fall, your tokens don't have to leave the ecosystem, which is where the danger is. It's in sending them around. My Ether wallet, that's about one of the scariest things, right? You don't even know if you're on My Ether wallet or My Ether wallet or some other phishing. So that's why we don't have a web version. It's just a phone app. And it's meant to just be, it's meant to be so easy that no one says how easy it is because it just works. Like a wallet should. But behind the scenes, there's tremendous amount of machinery going on.
That's a big issue that I find in the space because we're very fast-paced in the space on expectations, and so many focus on scalability, on privacy, on all these things that we hope to have on these systems in the future. But many of us are seeing that wallets are coming out for these projects, for these cryptocurrencies that are raising millions and billions of dollars, and they don't even have a secure, easy-to-use wallet. And that's such a big issue.
It's ease of use that we're all concerned about security, obviously. You don't hear too much about a phone wallet being hacked. I mean, they're pretty good. But ease of use, man, that's the big frontier. I just heard an interview with with Tyler Cowen, just came out the other day, and he says ease of use is one of the big areas where we have to push. And an example is your private keys. Your 12 words for most wallets, you got to make sure you're going to write those down and put them in a book, and if someone takes the book off to Goodwill, you're in trouble, and you've got to really watch it. And we know people lose private keys. So we are working on a way that you'll be able to remember and reestablish your wallet. But if you don't, there'll be a social way you can go with a couple of other connections, and they'll help you reestablish your wallet in case you've lost your keys. So it's like a social net.
It's almost like a multi-party lockup system where they have parts.
Exactly, a multi-sig with your people that you trust, and then they'll provide the backup in case you don't have it. So they'll.
Interesting.
Yeah. Things just make it easy. Just get the basics right, and that's what consumers need.
Absolutely. No, I agree. The issue that I keep running into more than anything is that people don't realize the freedom that comes with cryptocurrencies comes with a cost. You are your own bank.
It's great, and it cuts both ways.
Yep, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
The bleeding edge.
So going on here, we're talking about making better wallets. I definitely got to say, David, I had a really good experience getting to do a beta test again. It's nice to have something tangible.
Great.
And I definitely want to talk about the wallet going through here.
Sure.
Generally, though, going back to the kind of bigger picture of things, with blockchain development, with decentralized systems coming into play, and all these innovations with ICOs coming out, little to no innovation, I think, but we have to look for the good innovation.
Some of them there's a few gems in there.
Yeah. Well, looking for these gems and everything, what kind of trend do you see in this space? Like over the next year, do you see much more regulation coming into
sure.
space?
The worlds are crashing into each other. And we're going to be largely at the intersection, and the crypto anarchists are going to have to retreat a bit, unfortunately. It'd be nice if we could keep these two worlds separate, but that's not going to happen. So we're working very hard on equity tokens, not just for the Pillar wallet and not just for my other company, 2030, but for the world. Because the stock market is on this foundation of really what we did was we took the 19, 20, and 30 models in paper, and we kind of
Made it digital.
digitized that.
Yep.
So now you trade in and out in less than a second, and it still takes 2 days to settle that. So these are the capital markets. This is the New York Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange. These are things that are so antiquated that they've really gone past their breaking points. And we want to help them, get the best of both worlds. The best of what their world is that they've got a lot of market participants. They have rules and regulations they have to comply with. They have speed. We don't have any speed, right? They don't have, their settlement is terrible. So, and the ownership of these things all goes through intermediaries. So let's build a new stock market based on some open standards where you own your own stuff. The matching is at high speed. The matching can be centralized because the assets are atomized. That means that we keep our own control of our assets. And this is the new stock market. And we're trying to plant the seeds of that, both on the Pillar wallet with a regulated security offering that we're partnering with 2030 on. 2030 is just been accepted into the sandbox for the FCA in the UK, and we're building a broker-dealer in the United States. Issue startup stock, so startups don't have to come up with a phony reason for launching a token that no one ever can use when they really just need the money. So let's just raise money that mostly the good old-fashioned way with stock. Now, open source projects can sit down with venture capitalists, but it's a waste of everybody's time. So open source protocols and things that don't have things that have a tokenomics business model, like Ethereum, they'd never get any venture capital. There's no equity. So let's keep that utility token for the open source projects, but for everybody else, let's do it with equity, which is a better balance anyway. So I hope we actually kill the vast majority of utility tokens because they have no use. Their use is to raise money. After that, you have to make up a use for them.
Yep. I think utility tokens only are valuable, obviously, if you can build a network that can be utilized in a sense. There's very simple use cases that I see winning in the sense of utility tokens. Things like rendering power, for example, being able to possibly distribute some form of computational resources. But outside of that, the real only use case that I've seen so far is either the application of peer-to-peer digital currency, as we've seen with some of the currencies, and then outside of that as well as the securities aspect as well, being able to kind of democratize this industry of securities, hopefully over the long term.
We're going to, I think, do a better job at this, like energy and computing resources, because those, it doesn't make sense to have an ERC20 token for those, because it's a fixed number, and so you're going to have volatile price for these relatively commodity price things. You can't reprice all the time according to the demand for the token. So we want to also, you're asking about the future, we're also working on something called ticket chain, where the chain will be designed to issue tickets on an unlimited basis. So tickets are fixed price, unlimited number things like kilowatt seconds, kilowatt minutes, computing, CPU cycles.
It could be like
storage.
An electricity swap of some sort. It's like I can say I have claim to this amount of.
It's actually meant to be a rail for a minute for a kilowatt minute. It's a rail. You'd put power on it. You could then resell it. It could go into various smart home applications that can turn it on and use and buy it. It's like a payment method. So you buy that thing and then you use it whenever your home decides it needs it. You can just stock up on them, and then your home uses them as you need, or your car or whatever. But this payment rail should not be an ERC20 token that's got a fixed number. That's insane.
Yeah.
It should be a ticket. It should be an open-ended issue of constant, continuous price or market price things, not the market of the token, because the token's artificially limited, but the market price for energy, because there's really, you're issuing unlimited quantities. Every day you're issuing new, tokens for energy, and then they die, right? Or for like a container to move across the ocean, or a prescription. Would be a really bad idea to have ERC20 tokens or your gym membership, or a ticket to a concert or an event, or the thing that gets you into your job. All these things really want to be tickets and not the kind of tokens we're using today. So we want to wipe out those use cases where there's this fixed number of tokens, and yet they really want a fixed price for the service. And you don't, so now we're going to have to keep repricing. There's no way to have a, on the Pillar wallet, because there's a fixed number of Pillar tokens, we have to reprice every month. There's no way around it. If the Pillar token goes up 10 times, I'm not going to charge you 10 times more for the same service. So this is the problem we have. So we have a lot of fixing to do.
So because of the limitation there in the sense of a utility token, obviously, for example, if I was using one of my examples earlier about rendering power on a network.
Rendering power.
Yeah. So on that network, if I were to, for example, get a certain amount of power out of it, obviously if the token goes up 6 times, it's going to cost 6 times for that.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, you don't want to pay the same, twice as much for the bus ride you took last week. You can't budget that. So we need tickets. So I think that between tickets and equity tokens and other security tokens like loans and derivatives and so forth, I think that's probably going to cover 80% of the market. And then we have open source utility tokens, and then we have a bunch of miscellaneous categories. That's where we're shooting.
So kind of over the next year as well, do you think, generally we've already seen, for example, what you're mentioning with 2030 and Pillar, how I think it was the FCA, for example, was the financial
FCA is giving us a license to issue startup stock as tokens.
So with this more kind of, I guess, positive step in the sense of directions for cryptocurrencies, for these tokens to actually start coming out into the mainstream, do you see regulators opening up to, for example, in this case, when we're talking about equity and getting to partake in equity very early on, do you see financial regulators, both in, say, European markets and also the U.S., taking this model to the mainstream for retail investors?
Would be so nice. No, I don't. Unfortunately. They're like pretty proud of how safe they've kept investors for the last 80 years since 1940 and think that's working. And so even though I've written an essay called An Open Letter to the SEC where I try to show that it's not that working as well as they think, and it's pretty much a waste of time, it's going to be hard to change their minds. And unfortunately, some of these people are young. They're in their 40s. It could take a while.
That's the issue I find is we kind of live in a world, for example, where banks are cutting off credit card transactions on cryptocurrencies when I can still go to a casino and gamble with a credit card.
Lottery.
And then you still
it's insane.
You have things like, BitConnect that just completely slipped under the SEC's tongue for this whole year and led to billions of dollars being lost.
And we knew that it was a scam. Come on. So they're not on the ball. I think their number one wish would be that this would just all go away. And so their number two wish is, okay, hire some people, put them on this, figure something out, but don't make us look bad in front of Congress. Don't make a mistake. Do all the innovation you want, just don't get me in trouble.
We need no testifying.
I do not want to have to go answer for some stupid thing that somebody does that gets us all in trouble. So just, you know what? Be really obscure and take your time about it. And let's just see if time can just slip by, and we won't, and then Congress won't call us
Kick the can down the road.
And so there actually is a new amendment, a new law passed in Congress a couple days ago that it hasn't passed in the Senate, called let's kick the SEC in the butt. I don't know if you've seen this. There's a bunch of things they want the SEC to study, to start doing, to pay attention to. They want them to relax the restrictions on accredited investors, redefine accredited investors, let people, for example, invest up to, I think it's $20,000 on crazy risky schemes, but not more. And they're kind of trying to micromanage the SEC. I have 98% confidence that that's not going to become a law. Nobody really knows what to do. I wish they would pay more attention to the blockchain caucus, because those are really great people trying to really do the right thing. And what are they saying? Come on, you guys, we have no innovation going on in the United States. We've got to open this up and let people do things.
And I think there's such a power to allowing like retail investors. I've been pitching this for years, so I think we're speaking on the same level on this. I've been pitching for years about the power of ICOs in a sense. Bringing in retail investors in the sense of utility tokens, because of the fact that you can build an ecosystem around these whether it's a token or in this case an equity-based token, having ownership in something where you can participate in these early startups. You have people who are voluntary to market, to help develop, to provide feedback, and to use these products early on when they actually come to fruition. So
I think the SEC should not regulate products at all or markets. I think they should take their money and educate consumers. Because consumers, if they do spend too much, it's bad. They should learn how to build a balanced portfolio and not overcommit. But trying to micromanage that, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, the only reason we need the SEC is because we don't have financial education in the States.
Really? Yep. I think. They don't think that.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not going to get very far with that one.
They must know more than us.
Yes, they are so wise, and they protect us from danger.
Yep.
Yes.
We have to pray.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyways, I just want to go ahead, towards the end here, David, and just ask you, everything with Pillar, what's kind of down the pipeline? Obviously, there's been some setbacks.
Yeah. But now we're kicking, and as you say, name a crypto project that isn't late. Seriously, name one that is not late. So we're doing okay. We're on our feet now. This thing is not in the wall's not in the App Store yet. We're in testing, so that means we'll be on the test net with test ether and test tokens for weeks and weeks until we're really sure that and we like it. We're going to keep adding a few more features. We got a few more. It's going to be prettier. It'll be more polished. And I'm not promising in the App Store in September because I want to make it right. But September, October, we should have it in the App Store. It's both on Google and on iOS right now. It's pretty solid, and we're working hard on ICO, enabling ICOs and enabling trading, the exchange. But here's one thing we're really working hard on. Besides the ticket chain, it's fiat money. So we can put tokenized pounds, tokenized euros there, and now here's the magic: we could have an ICO that raises money by selling tokens, and you just pay in dollars. And now how hard is it to get a bank account? You can get a bank account. In the United States, you could, as long as you're conforming to the, whatever the
AML.
KYC, AML, as long as you're within the guidelines of a utility token, you could actually do a legitimate offering in the United States and go right to your bank. And that's what they need anyway. They need the money to run the project, not to speculate on cryptocurrencies. So this is a game changer. And having dollars and euros and pounds on the wallet will let people send money almost frictionlessly across our ecosystem. So remittances, payments to people, kind of the M-Pesa, but nonprofit, open source. And our goal is it's 1 penny to move any amount. So you can send. Now there's rules about can you send more than $10,000. So you can send $9,999, but you send that for 1 penny. Same as sending $1 for one. It's just 1 penny to anybody in the world with a Pillar wallet. I think that's a game changer. So we're working very hard on that as well.
Yeah, definitely for remittance systems, for just basic transactions.
Person to person economy. The Ether makes a lousy unit of account, and so does Bitcoin. So that's a big one I see coming down the pike.
Interesting. Well, David, that sounds awesome. I'm glad to get a little bit of perspective, not only on what's going on at Pillar, but also to hear what you're.
One last thing quickly. You're going to be able to buy a T-shirt in this wallet. I don't know another wallet where you can buy a T-shirt.
So there's a merchandise store.
There is not just a store, but there's an e-commerce ecosystem coming where you'll be able to, and I've talked about this in the gray paper, you'll be able to buy things, and you'll be able to buy, eventually, I hope, anything. Rent a car, get a hotel room, buy a bicycle, right in the marketplace. And the goal is that you keep your own data and you're in charge. So you won't see an Avis rent-a-car kiosk inside. You'll see it's just like Kayak. You'll say, I want to rent a car from here to there, and show me all the offers, and then you can sort them however you want, just like on Kayak or on eBay. You'll sort the search results, and you'll choose which offer you want. And this is the offer platform. And we're doing that with our crypto exchange. We're doing a similar one for products and services. This is a big build out for us, and people who have an e-commerce business, if you're using like WooCommerce, which is the most used e-commerce we're building bridges to that. So it'll automatically populate your offers into the platform. Someone buys one of your, drum sets, then it'll go down by one on your website, and you'll get the order, and the person will receive a drum set.
Interesting. So you could open up an entire marketplace for people, small businesses, compete with one another.
Huge. And we have no profit. So if you think of eBay has about $35 million of profit a year, our goal is to just do it without that. Person to person.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
David,
cool.
Very ambitious, excited to see what can come out of it. I know I've registered, I signed up my email for the beta test
All right.
when it comes out.
All right.
Going to be testing on iOS, try it out for myself.
All right.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much for
Nick.
spending the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Sure. Glad you could make it all the way to Vilnius. It's really special.
It's been an awesome time. Thank you.
Really happy you could come. Thanks.